Whether you call these patties, empanadas, or meat pies, we can all agree that it is unbelievably delicious, perfect to share with your friends and families. That being said, let's get started and go ahead and add our ingredients. To a large bowl, you're going to need some flour, sugar, salt, some turmeric, as well as some cumin powder. In another container, you're going to need some ice cold water. Don't worry, this will not alter the taste, but will result in more tender, flaky baked patties. Now I'm just going to add some cold butter and vegetable shortening. It's very important the butter and shortening has to be cold and needs to be cut into large chunks. The butter needs to remain cold during this recipe. So I'm using this pastry cutter that I got from the dollar store. However, if you do not have one of these, you can use 2 forks or a knife and incorporate everything. So now I'm just going to add in my ice cold water and just continue to mix that. Gradually add in your water and continue to mix. So this is not a sticky dough. We're just going to continue to add in that cold water to create more of a stiff dough. As soon as everything combines, you can add your dough to a clean surface and bring everything together by hand. The less you work with the dough, the better, because you don't want your butter to melt. Place your dough in cling wrap and refrigerate for at least half an hour. In the meantime, between time, we're going to be making that yummy filling. Here's what you need: garlic, carrots, ginger, some thyme, onions, scallions, allspice, garlic powder, paprika, and to give it that rich dark color, some browning, and some Scotch bonnet peppers. Give that a good mix in your food processor or blender, and then add in your browning. Ooh wee, look at that. So I got 1 pound of ground chicken. I've added salt and pepper and garam masala, some lemon and basil leaves. Now I like my ground chicken to be well flavored and well seasoned, so feel free to add whatever you like. So in a skillet, let's take a moment to hear the sizzle. Saute that mixture you made earlier for approximately 5 minutes. Make sure to give it a good stir before adding your ground beef, or in my case, chicken. And make sure to stir that up and break up your chicken just a bit, because I don't think you want to be eating any large lumps of filling in your patties. Stir occasionally and then add in your breadcrumbs. This is going to just suck up all that amazing delicious juice. I've also combined some cornstarch as well as vegetable stock. Now I will make sure to add a list of all ingredients in the description box below. When most of the liquid has been absorbed, your filling is ready. Fast forward to about half an hour to 45 minutes. I have removed my dough from the fridge. Make sure to flour your work surface. At this point, I'm just going to use my hands to work the dough just a little bit to combine everything. If your butter is melting, just add your dough right back into the fridge. And if your dough is really hard, then allow it to sit out for at least 15 minutes before you get started. Now look at those beautiful chunks of butter left over. So I'm just going to place the other half into the fridge and get started on this one here. Using a rolling pin, just press down on it. This makes it easier to manage and work through. Rolling it horizontally and vertically. It's really important that your dough stays cold. This is what allows your crust to be flaky and buttery. Okay, so if you don't have any fancy tools, just use a bowl. Check out all these bits of butter. Now I don't like my dough too thick, so I'm just going to continue to roll it a bit. Using an ice cream scoop, I'm just going to add that in the middle and then flip it from one side to the other. Then use half of the bowl to create an arch and cut my way through. Again, you don't need any fancy tools, just use what you have. And you're just going to cut down the sides, completely optional, and then we're just going to use a fork and then press along the edges. This prevents your dough from lifting while it's in the oven. I like to poke a couple holes with a knife and then add a bit of egg wash. There you have it. These were such a hit in my house that I made it 2 days in a row, and I decided to change the method slightly, but it's more or less the same idea. The good thing about this dough is that you can freeze it and use it for later or make ahead, and you can also use it for pie crust. This recipe is essentially a short crust recipe, and I use the method you would use when making croissant, which is to roll then flip from one end to the other, creating beautiful layers. This method is completely optional, but I just wanted to share with you another way that I like to do my patties as well. Just whatever is in my cupboard. Okay, so we're just going to pop these in the oven for 30 to 40 minutes until golden brown. Look how moist and delicious these patties are. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Until next time, bye.